Hello everyone, welcome to Alibaba Cloud webinar series. My name is Dean Liu from Training and Certification team. I will be your host for today's webinar. In this particular webinar, I will go through some basic concept and features regarding Alibaba Cloud RDS product. This will help you to understanding the features about relational database product and why and how you can use Alibaba Cloud RDS product. I will assume you have some basic technology about database. If you don't, however, it's okay, but during a few sections, you may feel a little lost. This webinar is ideally suited for database engineers and beginners to the Alibaba Cloud product suite. If you have any questions during this webinar, please submit your question anytime by clicking the question mark on the screen. I will be happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. Okay, let's begin. So here is today's agenda. So first, I will talk about what is RDS. I will introduce some basic concept and the architecture of RDS product. And after that, we will move to the RDS benefits part. We will talk about the characteristics of RDS and introduce some key features about RDS. After that, we will have a quick recap, and at the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. So I will be happy to answer your questions in the Q&A session. Okay, so let's move to chapter 1. What is RDS? So RDB is a short name for Relational Database Management System. So it's widely used for store structured data. So if you are familiar with RDBMS product, you can name some popular product like Oracle, like MySQL, SQL Server, or PostgreSQL. Relational Database Service is a managed relational database service that is simple to deploy, easy to scale, reliable, and cost-effective. And we provided a multi-choice of database engines, like you can choose to use MySQL, SQL Server, and PostgreSQL. Currently, RDS does not support Oracle, but you can use our ECS product. You can install and configure the Oracle on the ECS instance. Of course, you need to use your own license in this case. And also, RDS provides high availability and high performance feature. Regarding these two areas, we will introduce the details in the next chapter. And RDS is a managed service, which means what you need only focusing on is on the database management and operational part. For the operating system part is covered by Alibaba Cloud. Another benefit for the managed service is that we provide a lot of tools, including the backup and recovery and the HA features like primary and standby. And also we provide some monitoring tools. So by using these tools, it will make your database management task much easier. And also RDS is very easy to scale and operate. You can run as many of your systems as you desire. So let's move next. So instance is one of the important concepts of RDS. Database service running on a virtual computing environment. A user can decide the database engine, like you can choose MySQL or SQL Server, or PostgreSQL. You can also decide the CPU, memory, storage, and network used by the RDS instance according to your own business requirement. RDS provides a wide selection of instance types optimized to fit different use cases. So instance types comprise varying combination of CPU, memory, storage, and network capacity. So this is the instance. Let's see the service architecture of RDS product. So in this picture, it shows the core component provided by RDS. So in the right side, in the middle of the picture, there is a cluster. So RDS instance will run on this cluster. This cluster is is on our Apsara platform, which is a virtualized system, provided high availability features. And in the right side of this picture is some core component like monitoring system used to monitor the current real-time status of RDS instance, like the memory usage, disk space usage, and the CPU usage. The task schedule system is used to execute the instructions from the users on the cluster. For example, if user want to create a RDS, it will first the instruction will go to the task schedule system, and the task schedule system will execute this instruction on the cluster. And the migrate online system is used to migrate from another RDS instance or from your on-premise database system. The backup system is for the backup functions of RDS. So it can support some auto backup or manual backup. And HA control system is to make sure your RDS instance is always available. So we will talk about the master and slave node architecture. So HA control system will do the switch over operation and fall over operation according to your requirement. So let's see the process. So first, let's start from the left side. So if user can use web console or API to send the instruction. For example, they want to create a new RDS instance, they can use web console or API, and then it will send it to the task schedule system. Task schedule system executes the instruction and create a OS, a virtual machine, and install the OS and install the database software. After that, the database will be available. So after the DB has been created successfully, you can use the port to access the DB. For example, by default, MySQL instance uses 3326. You can use 3326 to connect to the RDS MySQL instance. Okay, this is the service architecture. So let's move to the next chapter, the RDS benefits. So we will introduce the characteristics of RDS from the following area with a wide variety of features covering usability, availability, scalability, and security. So next, we will introduce the main features provided by RDS in each area. So first, for the usability part, RDS provides a flexible and easy-to-use database platform. It allows you to effortlessly manage ApsaraDB for RDS instance using the web-based management console. And So especially for database beginners, it is very easy to perform common DB manage and operation tasks in Web Console by a few clicks. Of course, if you are a DB expert and want to use DB in the traditional way, you can use the API or connect to DB directly to do the common task. And also about the connection, about access to the RDS, you can use the intranet or the internet in high security access mode. For example, you can use internet address to connect it to the server from your local machine. Or if you already have a ECS instance which is in the same zone as RDS, you can use the intranet address for faster response times, and improved security. So RDS is a fully managed service, and the OS, the operating system is managed by Alibaba Cloud. Users have no access to the database host operating system. So users should only focus on the database operations. It can be done from the Web Console or use API. Another feature for usability is effortless migration. So ApsaraDB RDS product use the same skills and same tools as on-premise database engine. For example, if you want to migrate your MySQL DB instance from on-premise to RDS, you don't need to learn new technology. You don't need to learn new skills. You don't need to learn new tools. You can use the same way, use the same tool to migrate the original on-premise RDB to the ApsaraDB. Yeah. Okay. And I think it's very, very easy to deploy a new RDS instance on cloud. So let's do a quick comparison between of building a database with or without cloud. If you want to building a database without cloud, what you need to do is first you need to prepare the hardware and install the operating system software. After that, you have to do some configuration. So maybe during the installation and configuration, you may encounter some issues, and it will take much longer time to solve these issues. So totally, you may need to 3 to 5 hours to finish the database configuration part. By using cloud. What's wrong? So by using RDS product, you can easily to submit your creating tasks. What you need only to do is to first select the database engine and choose the CPU and the memory and network bound-wise, and then a few seconds. It may take 3 or 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. It will be available. So it's very simple to deploy RDB on cloud by using Alibaba Cloud. So next is monitoring feature. RDS console provides performance metrics for users to conveniently view and know the running status of their instance. Currently, we supported disk usage, IOPS usage, connection usage, and CPU usage metrics. For specific database engines, for different database engines, we also added some specific metrics. For example, for MySQL, you can monitor the MySQL network inflow and outflow metrics in the console. Okay, so next part, we will introduce the features in availability area. Okay, let's see the high availability features, high availability architectures. RDS currently provides a 3-tier high availability and disaster recovery architecture. The first layer, you can set up primary and standby architecture in the same zone. So by using this architecture, it can increase availability by running your application on 2 instances in same zones with automatic data synchronization. When the primary instance is not available, the system will automatically initiate over to the standby or secondary instance. So another layer is primary standby architecture in different zones. Different zones means different data centers. So it will enhance data reliability by deploying primary and standby instance in different zones with independent power sources and network environment. The third layer is remote disaster recovery. Synchronizes data in real time at different locations through the data transmission service. During any disaster, you can switch to the remote disaster recovery instance from the primary instance to guarantee business availability. This is currently in public beta state for MySQL ApsaraDB for RDS. Here is the 3 instance editions. You can choose Basic Edition and High Availability Edition and Finance Edition when you create a RDS instance. The Basic Edition is a single node instance. So if you choose Basic Edition, you will only have 1 node. So it will save a lot of money for you. For the high availability edition, it is using the classic high availability architecture we just introduced before, 1 master node and 1 slave node, and it's used the SSD storage, which can provide balanced and best performance. For the finance edition, it will have 3 node architecture with 1 master node and 2 slave node. It can guarantee strong data consistency by synchronizing multiple log copies. So this finance edition is well suited for the financial level data reliability. For example, for the backing system, and you should choose finance edition to ensure the highest level of data reliability. Between basic edition and high availability edition. The basic edition contains only 1 node and has no slave node, and so it can save your money. For high availability edition, there's 2 instances in the same or different zones with automatic data synchronization, and it supports automatically for over. Yeah, let me introduce the data replication modes. So what's the data replication process between master and slave nodes? Let's see the graph here. So when data changes occurs on master node, it will first submit the data changes in the master node, and then it will send the binary logs of master node to the slave node. And slave node will read the binary log and replay these operations and apply the changes to slave node. So this is the normal data replication modes. So let's see. Currently, we provide two-way in RDS. So we support async mode and semi-synchronous replication mode. So for async mode, in this mode, the master node doesn't immediately synchronize data to the slave node. When an application initiates an update request, which may include the add or delete or modify operations, the master node will respond to the application immediately after completing the operations, but doesn't necessarily replicate the data to the slave node right away. So here is the steps in async node. So when if master node A have data changes, the master node will immediately respond to the client. After that, they will send the bin log to slave node, and slave node will apply changes. For the semi-synchronous replication, master node will, if there are data changes on master node A will send the bin log to B. And after slave node B confirms it has already received the bin log, and B will give response to master node A, and A will respond to the application. Yeah, so you can see the difference is that in the async mode, master node don't care slave node whether slave node receives the bin log or whether it had already applied. Semi-sync mode, master node needed to confirm the slave node already received the bin log, and then it will respond to the application, to the client side. So that is the difference. So next, let's see the backup part. So RDS product support automatic backup and also the manual backup. You can configure a backup policy to adjust the cycles of RDS data backup and log backup and realize automatic backup. For example, you can specify the data retention days and the backup cycle frequency and the time, and also you can choose whether you should enable or disable log backup and the log retention period. Is automatic backup currently supports physical backup only. And for manual backup, you can it supports both physical and backup and logical backup. You can also so in this mode you can backup RDS data at any time you want using this feature. Next, we just talked about the backup. So how about the data recovery? Currently, we have three types of recovery. First, the master node rollback means that the master node down, the master node has failed. So you need to use your backup to restore a node to the state that it was at a specific point in time. So this is the manual work. If master node is down, of course it will automatically forward to the slave node. And if you want to roll back the master node, you can use backup data to do it manually. The second type is slave node repair. So RDS support automatically slave node repair. It will create a new slave node to reduce the risks when a failure occurs to the slave node. So this is an automatic operations. User don't need to care uh, about this. So it will be covered by Alibaba Cloud automatically. So the third type is the temporary instance. So you can create a temporary instance with your backup anytime. Means that because it's separated from the master instance, so it will reduce the impact on the product database, on the master database. So you can confirm the changes on temporary instance first, and then after you confirm that the database update is as you expect and it works well for the application, and then you can migrate the data from the temporary instance to the master instance. So the temporary instance is recommended, especially in the case you want to update your database. Yeah, it is a recommended feature. So you can make sure it will have no impact on the master database. So let's move next. So here is the characteristics of temporary instance. Its temporary instance will inherit the account and the password of the backup file, but keep the network type of the current instance. So you can use its instance name as a password, and it currently only one temporary instance can be generated at the same time. Before you create a temporary instance, any existing temporary instance, and because it's temporary instance, it's only valid for 48 hours. Yeah, you should test your changes and migrate the temporary instance to MasterDB in 48 hours. Okay, next let's see the features in scalability area. So RDS provides a highly scalable platform to build mission-critical applications. You can scale up or down based on your application's real-time requirement to ensure 100% resource utilization. You can also scale the storage space anytime and upgrade the memory and the disk space according to your requirement. About the storage, RDS supports up to 20,000 LPS and 2 terabytes of storage for single ApsaraDB for RDS instance. And RDS provides infinity read capacity. It supports, there's a function called read-only instance, and this function is available for MySQL. You can use this feature to expand your database configuration, and you can have multiple read-only instances, so it will provide better performance for the read operation. Next, for the configuration, and so if you want to access the RDS instance, you have to add the client to the whitelist of the RDS instance. It currently supports configurations of up to 1,000 server IP address to connect to RDS instance, so that risks are directly controlled at source. Okay, let's take a look about the read-only instance. Here, let's see the graph in the right side. You can create multiple read-only instances, and the data will be synchronized automatically from the master instance to the read-only instance.
And then in the application side, you can split your workload into two parts, the read-write part and the read-only part. After doing that, the read request will be distributed to the read-only instance. So it can reduce the workload pressure of the master instance, and you will have a better read performance. Another feature I want to mention here is that RDS support the read-write split access point. Means that we will provide a read-write, we will provide an access URL to which can be used in your application. By using this access URL, it will be automatically distribute the read request to the read-only instance and the read-write instance to the master instance. So it is automatically completed by Alibaba Cloud. So this is very useful. Next, RDS supports diversified storage extension through the memory cache, Redis, and OSS. As we all know, RDS is a relational database, and it's best suited for storing the structured data. For unstructured data, you can use our object storage service to store the unstructured data, and for some hot data product like ApsaraDB for memory cache, ApsaraDB for Redis to catch the hot data. It can provide high response speed for catch the hot data, and the cache area can support a higher QPS than the RDS. So you can see RDS can integrate with other storage extension. So when you design your application, you should consider which part of your data can be stored in the OSS and which part of your data can be should be cached in the memory. So it can improve the performance and save your cost. Okay, next is the security part, the security area. Three-level security defines system to protect the database against the security threats. First, the DDoS provide a real-time traffic monitoring at network entry point. If any high traffic attack is identified, the source IP are either cleaned or blacklisted. And the basic DDoS is free to use in RDS. So if you need a much powerful DDoS feature, you should choose our professional DDoS product. And another security feature is IP whitelist configuration. As I talked before, all the client which needs to access our RDS instance should be added in the IP whitelist. So it will ensure it can control the risks. So the risks are directly controlled at source. And RDS instance is also provide the protection of database, a protection from various attacks like intercepts, SQL injection, the brute force attacks, and other forms of database attacks. About the privilege management feature. So you can use, they provide a resource access management, RAM, to control who can perform actions on RDS. So you can combine with the traditional database grounds feature to to configure the privilege. For example, if you want to control the database level, for example, who can access which database, and you can use the database grant feature to do this. And if you want to control which cloud account can access the RDS instance, you can use our RAM, Resource Access Manager feature, to do this. Okay, the last security feature I want to talk is TDE. And TDE is transparent database encryption. It's a technology employed by Microsoft, IBM, and Oracle to encrypt database files. TDE offers the encryption at file level. So TDE solves the problem of protecting data at rest, encrypting database both on the hard drive and consequently on backup meter. And this graph is for MySQL TDE. So MySQL Enterprise TDE use a two-tier encryption key architecture, consisting of a master encryption key, master key, and a data key. Data key are managed automatically in RDS metadata. Well, the master encryption key is stored in a centralized key management solution. Here, Alibaba Cloud provides a product called KMS. KMS is a secure and easy-to-use management service provided by Alibaba Cloud. With KVM, you will no longer have to spend excessively to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the case. Instead, the KMS security and conveniently manage your case, allowing you to focus more on developing encryption, decryption function scenario. Here is a process by using TDE feature. For example, like we introduced before, the data key is stored in the RDS metadb. So if you want to encrypt the data in your RDS instance, first you have to de-encrypt the data key. So this encrypted data key will be sent to the KMS, key management store, and it's in the KMS store. It will use the master key ID to de-encrypt the data key. Then you will have a data key, and the data key will be sent to the DB engine and use this data key to encrypt data to the local SSD. Okay, this is the TDE part. Okay, so next let's do a quick recap. Here I will introduce a basic reference architecture here. So it can be widely used in common application architecture. Here, for the database layer, we can use the RDS instance when we introduced in this webinar to store your structured data, and you can use OSS, the object storage service, to store the structured or unstructured data like the image, like the video. You can use OSS. For the application layer, you can use the ECS cluster to ensure the application performance and the high availability. And you can use the server load balance product to divide the workload into different ECS instances. Yeah, this is the four important product provided by Alibaba Cloud: the ECS, the server load balance, and RDS and OSS. So you can use these four product to build your application only. So try it if you have time. Okay, let's do a quick recap about RDS. So RDS provide functions in four areas like usability, availability, scalability, and security. For usability part, we provide the cost-effective and we provide real-time monitoring and instance alert feature. And we provide flexible payment options like you can choose pay as you go or subscription mode. And for availability area, we provide 99.9 business availability. We support automatic failover in case primary instances are not available. And we support automated backup and manual backups. And also you can use verify your changes before you apply the changes on your production database. For scalability, we have read-only instance feature, and you can also use the RDS with other storage product like OSS or in-memory database product together. For security part, we provide IP wet list configuration, the transparent database encryption, and we provide the protection against the network attacks, the intercept SQL, injection, brute force, and other types of database attacks. Okay, so this is a recap. Okay, next is our Q&A session. So if you okay. Okay, I got a question here. It is about any reason to use Alibaba Cloud RDS over another company's RDS product. Actually, Alibaba Cloud, the RDS product, first they use open source product like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and the RDS product is used in our own company in Alibaba group, and we have tuned for example the MySQL, we have tuned the features and the parameters, and we have added some new features in this product. So it has been tested in our internally other internal department, and it has been proved it can provide high availability, high performance to make sure all the business works fine. So if you know Double 11, so we are using our own RDS product here. Yeah. So another question here we got is, how does the performance of a self-built database on an elastic cloud server hosted on Alibaba compare with RDS product? Let me explain this way. Because first, RDS product is a managed service, right? So we have tuned the parameters, and we have do our own modification about the RDS product database engine, like MySQL or PostgreSQL, and we can make sure it can provide better performance than traditional than the traditional on-premise database. And if you are using ECS to host your database, you need to set up the database and tune the parameter yourself. So I think if the database engine you want to use is provided by RDS, I recommended you to use our RDS product. But if you want to use Oracle, so you should use ECS. And also the performance depends on the resource you selected, like the CPU memory you selected during the instance creation. Make sure you have choose the proper resource first. Okay. I think that's all for today's webinar, and thank you very much for attending this webinar. You can access our official website alibabacloud.com if you wish to see the recording of this webinar. So hope you enjoy today's webinar. Thank you very much.